Salutations this fine twilight, let us begin. Let me try being blunt, folks. I believe it a certainty the Doctor, Dottore, Zan Dick, assisted the Rerir of Solnari Rerir in his revival. Why? The crux of the issue lies with Varka. If y'all remember correctly, when we stepped foot inside Nod-Krai, we were supposed to meet with Varka, yet we couldn't because he was no longer here. He had to go on an expedition to a region known as Amsfartatir due to reports of wild hunt attacks.
Your intel also explains something else I've been wondering about. The reason I led my team to Amsfartatir was because we'd had reports about a possible source of the wild hunt showing up there. But once we looked into it, it turned out to be a red herring. I don't know who was behind it, but clearly it served its purpose. I doubt it's by chance that he happened to make his comeback while my attention was diverted. And from everything you told me, it sounds like his scheming began well before his return. So maybe luring me away was all a part of his plan. But is it even possible that he orchestrated all of this by himself?
To answer the last question that Varka asked, we'd find out later it's most likely not possible that Rerir managed to organize this all by himself, as a nefer would tell us this.
You previously told us about how when you went to investigate a source of the wild hunt in Amsfartatir, you discovered that it was just a diversion. But according to Flintz's intel, several outbreaks of the wild hunt had already occurred in Nod-Krai in the period leading up to that. That was before Rerir had regained his body, when he was far from regaining his full strength. In other words, in theory at least, he still lacked the means to act in two places at once.
The seeming confirmation that Rerir could not act in two places at once then begs the question, who planted the red herring that lured Varka away from Nod-Krai so that Rerir could revive himself? Who in Nod-Krai could possibly be capable of this? A master manipulator, someone who believes themselves powerful enough to involve themselves with a sinner, even if indirectly. Someone who thrives behind the scenes, rarely revealing themselves, only ever watching, never interfering to see how their little experiments play out.
Why wait until now to show up? You could very well have stopped us and helped that fake god.
Simple. Let me ask you this. Would any staff member ever help the subject in the middle of an experiment? It was my experiment. So why should I interfere with the results?
Folks, the Doctor. We first heard his team was present in Nod-Krai thanks to Mawika.
Such fragments are known as Ancient Moon's remnants. Relics of secret source technology from the era of the ancient dragons. Coincidentally, a small squad of Fatui infiltrated our borders around the same time it appeared. Our investigation revealed them to be the subordinates of the Doctor. Their stronghold is in Nod-Krai.
Later, we'd find out from Sandrone there's another Harbinger currently present in Nod-Krai she'd rather not name.
No, she's not. Once the work on this facility was completed, she went back with the Rooster and Regrator. The only ones in Nod-Krai are me and...
This Voldemort-esque figure haunting the other Harbingers would get alluded to once again at the end of the quest with an interaction between Arlecchino and Sandrone at tea time.
So, that close colleague who stayed behind with you? What's he been up to recently?
Don't know, don't care. I get more normal human interaction from hanging out with Bosco too than him. Although, now you mention it, he hasn't bothered me in a while. I wonder if...
If he's disappeared without a trace, it's the biggest gift he ever gave to the world. But I somehow doubt that's what's going on. He won't lie low forever. So we'd better stay on guard.
Given in theory the Harbingers are close colleagues...
Hey, listen here, columbina! I tolerated your nonsense previously because we were colleagues.
All we have to do is identify the male Harbinger that could have these two speaking like this. Who could they possibly have their guard up against? Who warrants this kind of attention? It's not Pantalone or Pocahontas. They're both in Snezhnaya. It's not Child because it's not Child. This is too off-brand for Piera, who doesn't get involved in the operational duties of the Harbingers, and, you know, I have a sneaking suspicion that Capitano will be sitting this one out. So this just leaves the diddler. Further back in the point that the Doctor is active in Nod-Krai is the nature of his work in relation to the Experimental Design Bureau in Nod-Krai. Columbina told us this facility will play a rather large role in the Tsaritsa's assisted suicide plan of attacking the Heavenly Principles.
Well then, have you been to that Experimental Design Bureau of theirs? That weapon will play a key role in the Tsaritsa's plan.
How will it do that? Well, apparently at this facility they're harnessing the power of Kuvaki in the Light Realm to build a weapon.
I'm flipping through it as we speak. Kuvaki, a weapon. Huh, seems like the Fatui and Snezhnaya are trying to harness the power of the Light Realm to build some kind of weapon. The target of which is...
What's this got to do with the Doctor? Let's not forget, folks, Columbina told us the Doctor is researching the Light Realm, more specifically, Kuvaki.
The Doctor often asked me to assist in his Light Realm-related research. I obliged him a few times, but it was so dull. Use Kuvaki to strike this. Use Kuvaki to control that.
So it then makes sense he's in the most Kuvaki-rich area in Teyvat, Nod-Krai, but now that we've established with reasonable certainty the Doctor is present and active in the area, how can we be certain he's the one who lured Varka away so that Rerir could revive himself? And the truth is, we can't, but who else could do this that's in Nod-Krai? Who else would want to aid a sinner like this? I suppose it's possible maybe someone like Vetterfalnir wouldn't be opposed to the idea of Rerir coming back. He seems to like Rerir, and he could have had the Abyss Order go and plant the red herring so Rerir could rise once more, but yeah, I don't know. Occam's razor, you know. Well, it's tough to determine what the Doctor's endgame is here. He's the only one who would have done this, no matter the outcome, right? The only thing that matters to him are his own little personal experiments. He wouldn't have even retrieved the Electro-Gnosis for the Tsaritsa had Skara a bunch of months succeeded in becoming an archon. He said himself, the experiment failed, so now he's ball.
All right, that's enough conversation for today. The experiment is over, and it's time to tidy up the equipment and reclaim any useful materials. For example, the Gnosis.
Guys, this nigga just doesn't give a fuck is the point I'm trying to make. Now, it should come as little surprise another heavy-hitting enemy will carry us through the rest of Nod-Krai's plot for however long that lasts, given we've yet to see Scaramouche, Alice, Nicole. If Rerir really was the end-all be-all, then surely they would have taken on, those missing heroes would have taken on a much more active role, yet nothing aside from Nicole telling us which books to read and protecting Hisi Island from an attack. Now, if there were something or someone else powerful who warranted their full attention, say the second-ranked Fatui Harbinger, power rivaling a god, the Doctor, then it makes sense we know what they look like. Now, to be fair, Rerir's story isn't done, I don't think, anyway, but, he'll be out of commission for a while. He got sent to Narnia. So what role is the Doctor going to play exactly? I have no idea. The only thing we know for certain at some point with the Doctor is he wants to burn Irminsul, but, that's not really a Nod-Krai-oriented story, it's more Sumeru, but on a more speculatory note, I imagine this all has to do with the moons. Given Dottore is working for the Tsaritsa and partaking in all manner of Light Realm and Kuvaki research, one has to wonder, why are the Fatui going all in on that department? Clearly they believe a Light Realm weapon could in some way hurt the father to all and mother of all gods. Now when I say hurts, I don't necessarily mean physically hurts the Heavenly Principles. No, don't be silly. The reason I say this is because maybe the weapon serves another purpose than being fired directly at the Heavenly Principles. Maybe it's a weapon designed to destroy Celestia, or destroy the false sky. Regardless, it's a weapon based on Kuvaki that'll further their goals. What do we know about Kuvaki? It comes from the moons. What's interesting is that Columbina told us the world has rejected her and is draining her power.
Rejected by the world. My power is dwindling. Like a lake, cut off from its source, slowly shrinking away. Now, it has almost run dry.
What do you mean, rejected by the world?
The 3 moons belonged to the ancient bygone era in which they came into being. From the moment I was born, the world itself has been steadily sapping away at my strength.
As Columbina stated, the 3 moons were created by Nibelung long before the Heavenly Principles arrived, yet when they did end up arriving and gently placed Nibelung into a crack rehabilitation facility off-world, they seized control of the moons. Quote, "The Reaver from beyond the skies replaced the primordial creator and gained possession of the vows upon which the three caused the world to turn." Is this action not strange in itself? Why keep something that was made by Nibelung around? Well, if it is as it's written, the three moon goddesses were required to keep the world turning. This could be why they were kept around, as the worlds needed their power, but if the world needed their power, and not the moon goddesses, this could explain why Columbina, the frost moon goddess, is being rejected by the worlds and cut off from her power, because Celestia is graciously easing her burden and seizing her power. What good people they are in Celestia. And so if a weapon is constructed to target this process, and the Doctor is the lead on this weapon, the Fatui might at their disposal have power that could shape the world itself.
They say that back then, the three moon goddesses wielded immense power. Enough to shape the workings of the world itself.
You've maybe high ambitions, Doctor. I pray for your prolonged, agonizing death.